Hey guys, this is a nice day for another review, and this time I received from the good people at Juntek. There's just released new arbitrary function generator. I'm talking about the JDS8080, the top model in this series. I reviewed previously the PSG9080, the top model of the 9000 series, and in this review I will bring it back to quickly see some difference between the two models. If you want to watch my review of the PSG9080 also, you will have it here on the left side of the screen, the card for that video. A word of thanks to Juntek that sent this device for review free of charge, but rest assured that I will do an honest and impartial opinion as always. In the topic of thanking, a quick word to the viewers that use the affiliate links and the affiliate access links to support the channel. It is very easy, as you can see on the screen, and also really important. Remember that by using these links you pay the same price on your shopping, but you are helping me to maintain the channel and keep these videos coming. Without further ado, let's see the JDS8080 features. I have here the box. It came a little banged up, but yeah, it seems that the inside should be okay. Let me open. It's already with tape. Maybe in the customs they open it. Okay, let's see what's inside. We have a USB Type A to Type B cable. A user manual. The previous manual seems okay. I expect this to be also good. Yeah, it seems to be. And a set of alligator to crocodile probes, a cable BNC to BNC, and the normal power cord. I will not need this one. Out. Okay, that was what we had on the box. Let's see how this function generator looks like. Okay, what I notice immediately is that this unit, as I told you before, it's smaller and it doesn't have the keypad, the number keypad as the 9080 has. We have a set of buttons in here, mem, info box and shift. Also wave mods. Yeah, we have several buttons and this is the control buttons. I will show you in a bit. The buttons are rubber. It have a very good touch. Yeah, they seem good. 2 channels output, 80 megahertz each channel, and they are processed individually. And we have also the input for modulation and exterior connection. A small standing fit. Yeah. And in the back we have also the sync with the out and in, a TTL extension port, USB Type B port. We can power this device by using DC 5 volts or connect directly to the house mains by 230 volts in my case. This sticker is a little up. Let me just put it down. And that's it. This is a small unit, but it seems very cool. Okay, let me get the PSG9080. As you can see, in terms of size, it's much bigger. The 9080 has this rubber fit that will prevent from sliding a bit, obviously. And on the top, let me show you. On the top we have also a keypad. The same functions that you have in here, those functions are all around here, but we still have the keypad also. And in the back we have also the same connections, so nothing different here. I believe that the JDS8080 has the Bluetooth device inside, So that will be an improvement. Okay, let me take this out. So it seems pretty cool. Let me turn this on to see what we have in here. Okay, here it is, ready for power up. Let's do that. It's quite fast to start, yeah, as you see, it takes only a few seconds. At first I told you that it didn't have a keypad, but it's not quite accurate what I said. It does have a keypad. If you notice in here, I didn't notice at first, you have some numbers, yeah. And for activation of these numbers, for example, let's go to Wave, you have here inbox, and in this inbox button it's to activate the input box, and this input box allows you to use these keys. As you see, you have numbers in here and also the 0 in this key, the point, and plus and minus in here. So you can insert any number like 10, and you can even use the knob to enter, or you have here also the OK for enter. But yeah, it does have a keypad. You have to activate it. It's not the same as the JDS8080 that it has its own dedicated keypad, but it's here. Okay, so in terms of the operation of the device, that now that I cleared up the part of the keyboard for number input, we first have in this section the mem and the recall. It will allow you to save or recall from memory the configurations. Right now it's saving. You can choose the memory and press OK to save. And if you want to recall, you can also choose the memory and OK, it's loaded. You can have several configurations in here. The inbox, as I just showed you, activates in some menus, not always, the input, the number input box. You have the shift also that can be used, for example, with mem. It disables only after a few seconds, so you have to be quick on your operation. Shift, mem, and you have the save. If you don't use the shift, it will activate the load. So shift gives access to other functions. If I recall correctly, for example, shift and sys will give you the model number and the part number and everything else, the hardware versions and firmware and so on. If I'm not wrong, this is a 2.5 inches screen. You have here the function keys. These keys will change the function according with the selected menu. I will show you in a bit. You have also the normal functions like waveforms, sweep functions with VCO, and also the measurement. The sys, where you configure, and the out to turn on or off the channels. In here you have the knob that can change automatically the waveform, okay, and also the manual keys for moving on and moving down. Let me do that. And it can be used also, let me just, for example, to change manually the values. In here, right now I'm changing the waveform. So it's pretty easy to operate this device. It has a very short learning curve. So yeah, in terms of buttons, you have the wave that shows you automatically here the most common waves, like the sine wave, the square wave, the pulse wave, triangle, and also arbitrary. And the arbitrary will give you access to a bunch of arbitrary waveforms that you can use the PC to edit or create yourself. So in terms of waveforms, we have the sine wave, obviously, and if you notice, each of the waveforms has a number, 1, 2, okay. We have a lot of them. Full wave, well, I think they are 19, the predefined waveforms, yeah, 21, sorry. And then you have the internal waveforms, and after that you have the arbitrary. And I think you can have 99 waveforms in the arbitrary. Okay. So in terms of buttons and configuration, what we have the waveform where you select the waveform as I showed you. You also have the CMOS, DC, I don't know what this one is, let's see. It's the dev sign. And what else do we have? Noise and arbitrary too, I think. Yeah, arbitrary, yeah, again, yes. In terms of other functions, we have, let me put this again in sine wave. Yeah, we have also the modulation, and you can see here how the modulation will appear in the signal. For example, we can change the depth. Yeah, and you can see what the modulation will do to your waveform. We have also in the modulation the frequency, the source, and the shape of the modulation and the type. And for the type we have also a bunch of options. Where is it? ASK, PSK, burst, PWM, and you have obviously AM and FM with a lot of options for each one. So in terms of modulation, that's it. We have the sweep. You can specify the sweep in which channel it will work, the start frequency, the end frequency, the sweep time in seconds increasing, and the sweep mode if it is line or I don't know right now what's the second. Let's move this again. Yeah, and yeah, you have line and logarithmic. And you can turn this on and it will do the sweep. I will connect this in a brief to an oscilloscope so we can see this working. You have also the VCO, where you have the start frequency, the stop frequency, calibration, Vmax, and VCO mode line. Also the measure, you can measure the frequency, the PW plus positive, the negative PW, and PDT, and also the duty cycle. Okay, we can change AC or DC, and yeah, it's pretty much that. It's on or off. And also in this menu, the measure, you can activate the counter. Right now I don't have anything in here. I will show you ahead in the video how this will work. And yeah, that's it pretty much. Let's see only the sys menu, where you have the setup, the config of the device. You can clear the memories. You select the memory to clear. It's pretty easy. Activate the sound on or off. I prefer off. And also let's see the brightness, the language, the built-in waveforms, the arbitrary waveforms, wave load metal. Yeah, you have a few bunch of information in here. You have also the waveform sync, the frequency sync, amplitude sync, offset sync, duty sync. And if you will do an external sync, I will show you how everything works in this menu. I will do some syncing so you can see how that works. And you have also the recover to defaults. And for last, auto or off, fine tune in channel 1 and amp fine tuning in channel 2. And help information. I don't know what we do with this help information. Let me see. No, it doesn't do anything. I think it's only to show here the user manual. I don't know. Okay. What the hell? Why do I have this in here? Ah, okay. It makes sense to change the language. Okay, it makes sense. And this is what you have in the sys menu. Let's try to shift some of the keys. It doesn't have anything special. Okay, shift mod, no. Shift video VCO also nothing, and shift sweep also nothing. Yeah, shift out also nothing. But if you do shift left key, you will lock the keypad. You will not be able to do anything more. And also, if you do shift right key, it will unlock. I don't know how. I think I activated the sound again. No, it's off. It's only because it's locking. Okay, the sound always works when it's locking. You can do the same thing just by pressing for a few moments. Yeah, without the shift. Okay, let's connect this to an oscilloscope and see how the waveforms appear and how the performance of this device is. I have my setup already in place. What I will do now is pretty simple. I will show you some waveforms on my oscilloscope and how they will appear, if they are well drawn and everything else. And then I will also take the two channels that Juntek says it work independently and have the same performance. I will try to work with two on the oscilloscope again. So let's start. I will start by turning the channel 1, and we will start with the 1 megahertz sine wave. Let me do auto to center everything. Okay. It seems to be well formed. Well, let me just take this to 1 volt, and yeah, seems pretty nice. I will start with the waveforms. So in terms of frequency, let's take this to, I don't know, 20 megahertz. It's half of the bandwidth that this device is able to produce. Okay, in 20 megahertz we have also a nice waveform. It doesn't flicker, doesn't wiggle. Yeah, so pretty satisfied with this. Let me take this then to 80, first to inbox, 80 megahertz. So at 80 megahertz, this is 2 nanoseconds time division, 1 volt peak to peak. Yeah, it's very stable, well drawn. I think, yeah, seems to handle the 80 megahertz pretty well. Let's take these two waveforms to other waveforms. Let me, for example, change this to a square wave. Okay. Well, this was not what I was expecting. Yeah, sine wave, square wave. Yeah, not exactly what I was expecting. Normally, I think the maximum bandwidth of the waveform of the square wave, it's 15 megahertz. And normally when the waveform changes and the maximum bandwidth of that waveform type is passed, it will automatically change the maximum to the maximum of the waveform. And this is not happening in here. So Junctek, maybe you want to make a few changes in this. Yeah, okay, so I will do it manually. Let's put this oops, not here, it's in frequency 15 megahertz. 15 megahertz, it's in there. So let's do auto. Okay, it's not perfect, but okay. At least it's a square wave. We can all agree with that. Yeah, not what we want to. Let's take this down to 10. Yeah. It's better, but not great. What we wish to have is a 90 degree angle, and at 5 megahertz I think that we have it. We still have that sign there. I don't know if it's the cable or not being. Let me see what is the configuration of channel 1. Yes, it's 1 time, so it's correct for this cable. And yeah, I think that for a 90-degree angle you should have come near 1 megahertz. Yeah, this is a perfect 90-degree. Let's try something different. We have the pulse, the triangle. The triangle, let me take this to higher bandwidth. Okay, 10 megahertz. Yeah, it's pretty cool. We have here on the peaks a little smoothness, but other than that it seems okay. This is 15 megahertz, the maximum bandwidth for this signal. Yeah, we can pass it, but this is what they recommend, the maximum 15 megahertz. Okay, what else do we have here to test? Let me triangle, ramp. This is DC, the sine wave again. Let's do it auto. Okay, this is the half wave. I think the full wave again. The ramp, well, now I am at 15 megahertz. Sorry, I am 5 megahertz. Let's take this to the 15. Yeah, at 15 it kind of wiggles and have some jittery, and yeah, not good. Okay, this one, it will work up to 3, 4, 5. Yeah, even so, I think this is okay for the price, and you still have here a nice quality signal, especially on waveforms. I didn't connect my PC yet to this to draw arbitrary waveforms, so we will test that more ahead in the video. Okay, in terms of waveforms, I think that we are good. Let me just show you again. Set the waveform 0, that's the sine wave. Okay, and I will show you now how to sync both channels, and we will do that sync to test the maximum bandwidth of a sine wave on both channels to see if the sine wave is correctly on the screen. So first of all, let's go to System, Waveform Sync, turn this on, frequency, amplitude, offset, and duty cycle. Okay, we will not activate the external sync yet. I will show you after how to do that. And right now, if I change anything, it will update both channels. Again, as you see in the screen, both channels are updated. I want a sine wave, and let's start the sine wave with 1 megahertz. Yeah, so just need to start the second channel, and also in here activate second channel and do auto. Okay, so we have two equivalent sine waves, and I will center on the screen. Let me center the second, and what I want to show you is that if you notice, the second channel is the blue one, and when I disable the second channel, as you can see, it's now overlapping the first one, and it's correctly overlapping. You don't see the yellow from the first channel. So that's what I want for this test. I want to have two equivalent or equal sine waves, and let's test it. First of all, we have 1 megahertz. As you can see, yeah, you don't have the yellow outside of this blue line, so we will take this to 20. Okay, inbox 20 megahertz. This is half of the maximum speed. We have to do an auto again. Yeah, and center, channel to center, and at half of the speed we see in here some yellow. or some deviation from the channel 1 and channel 2. Yeah, but the waveforms are pretty well drawn. The signal, it's very stable, so I think that we are good with this one. Let's take this all the way up to 80 megahertz, the maximum. Okay, let me just increase this. And well, at 80 megahertz you see here some deviation, nothing serious. The signal, it's well drawn, it's stable, it doesn't have jittery or wiggle or whatever. If you saw before with the square wave, or especially the ladder and those kind of signals, it has some jittery on the signal, and it's very stable, it's well drawn, so I cannot ask any more from this. 80 megahertz, yeah, 2 channels. We have not completely overlapping, but yeah, it's almost in this zone, it's overlapping without any problem. Yeah, we have some deviation in here, but nothing serious, so very nice. I think it's really a good product for the price. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, it's something different. I have already the channel synced. As you can see, when I change the frequency of channel 1 and channel 2, change everything at the same time. And I will now do the same, but with a second signal generator. I will configure this device to work with a second signal generator in terms of external syncing. So now I will show you the sync control using the VCO between these two devices. In my PSG9080, I'm outputting 1 megahertz with a 5 volts peak to peak and offset of 0 volts. In the JDS8080, I will activate the VCO. I will start by using the start frequency of 1 megahertz, the stop frequency of 5 megahertz, and let's calibrate this. The first thing, you choose the start and end frequencies, then come while the signal is outputting, you do a measure. Okay, it will get the measure of the 0 volts offset, then you change the offset for example 10 volts difference. Okay, and measure again in the Vmax calibration measure. Okay, we have a new value, and that's basically it. Okay, let's power this on, and the magic now happens in the following way. As you can see, it's outputting 5 megahertz right now because we are at 10 volts offset. I will lower this up to 5, and when we reach the 5 volts, you can see that the frequency in here in the screen is start to lowering. Okay, down to 1 volt, that's the start frequency. If I go lower, it will stop there, I mean 0, and when I reach 1, yeah, it's still in 0, it still changes, but the frequency it's 0. Yeah. Okay, so we can change the frequency like this. You can come here in function, and also you can change the amplitude. As you can see, let me just open the signal a bit. We can change the amplitude, controlling by the offset, and also you can change the, I think it's the duty cycles. So for that I believe that we have to exit this menu and change the waveform for pulse. Yeah. Okay, let's go again to VCO and do auto in here. We have to power the VCO, and using again the offset change, We can change here the duty cycle. Yeah, you can see it changing like this. Okay, it's easy to set up. Don't forget that you have to connect here on the orange connector, not on the external connector, on the orange that says mod, and it will work pretty easily. So while I'm connected to this, I will show you another function. Let me just put this again in sine wave, auto. Okay, so we have also the measurements. For measurements, we can see AC or DC and on or off. The measurement we have to connect here on the external. Yeah, as you can see, it's already measuring. You can off and or on. It's not quite accurate, but it's almost there. It's almost 3 megahertz. Another function that you can use accessing by the measure menu, it's the counter. You have here on the function keys on the top, the counter function. Yeah, right now it's off. If you press here the play key, soft key, and the counter will start. You have also the reset button. Every time you press reset, the counter starts again. And yeah, it's counting the megahertz or the cycles of the signal. Okay, pretty easy. Also, let's stop this. Okay, that's it. Let's move on. Let's see now how the sweep works. You have the sweep, just press the button. You can define as normally the start frequency, the end frequency, the time, the sweep direction, if it can be round, increasing, decreasing, for example increasing, and also if it is line or logarithmic. And when you are satisfied with all the options, you just press on and it will sweep, as you can see here on the oscilloscope. So now let's see the modulation. In terms of the modulation, as you can see, as I press the button, it starts immediately applying the modulation. You can select the modulation frequency, depth, source, shape and type. Let's see the type. Right now we have AM. We can change to FM, PM. Well, we have several modes, as you can see in there. We have FM. Let's go to AM. And we can change the depth of the modulation. Okay, you see on the screen what is happening when I change the depth. Yeah, it works pretty well also. One of the questions that I have a lot in the comments in the channel is how to animate XY mode figure. It's pretty simple, and I will show you using both channels of this device. Okay, so let's come here to the frequency and select something like 10 kilohertz. Okay, and also on channel 1 do the same, 10 kilohertz. Okay, we have both the same frequency in both channels, and what we will do now is, for example, on channel 2, let's change, and we can change the frequency just a bit in one of the decimal places. For example, if I increase by 1, you automatically start animating the figure. Okay, if you increase the speed, if you increase the frequency in here, the speed will also increase. Yeah, as you see, it's pretty easy to do that. You can also do something like add modulation. It depends of the modulation type that you had, and it will also give you some figures. I will take this out now. If you also, instead of going by small steps, if you increase a lot of steps, there is a point where you get some animations, as you can see. Yeah, so It's just to experiment and see what you got. Now it's teardown time. Okay, here it is. Let me just move the board this side. So starting from the front, this is the board to connect the LCD screen. Also in this model, the USB and Wi-Fi module can be connected inside. It is already delivered with the module inside instead of installing here in this expansion port. It's already mounted here. We have also the buzzer, the BNC cables, and this is only the board for the keypad and the screen. The main board seems very compact, somehow similar to the JDS8080. We have some relays in here, I think. And all the rest is MISC components. The main processor should be under this heatsink. We have here also the power supply that will provide energy from the 220 mains to DC in here. If you notice, the HERT is only connected to the power supply. If you want to connect HERT to the main board, you have this screw here, and it will not be connected between both connections. You can have an isolated HERT only for the signal generator part. Okay, and that's it. I will not dig much more into this. I only opened this just for the more curious can see how it is in the inside. So let's assemble this and pass to the PC software and mobile application. So regarding the PC application, I had a few problems installing it. After a while, I noticed that it was in conflict with my antivirus, Avast. So I finally managed to install this application, but every time I try to start the application, it will show me this screen. I have to ignore all of this message, and it says you cannot find a bunch of files in here. It's crazy. So I don't think I can use this. As you can see, the application has a nice design, but I don't find here, it doesn't show my communication port. This will connect, but it doesn't say anything. Nothing seems to work because it's missing probably a bunch of files. So in this case, I cannot truly say how I can use this. I believe this is something that has to be corrected in the software, but anyway, that's what I got. Tried to get some feedback on the WhatsApp group. It didn't arrive in time for this video, so maybe in the future I will get back to this, because I already saw some videos of the application and seems pretty cool, with a nice design and with all the functions, and seems to work pretty well. I don't know what is going on with my installation, but never mind, let's move on. Okay, now I will show you how to install the Android app. I don't have iOS, so we'll do Android. You have on your user manual this QR code. I'll be using mine on the screen. I have this manual on PDF. You have also in here for iOS the QR code. Okay, so let's do that. I have here my application for QR code reading. Let's see, and go to the website. It's an IP address. It will download this apk.zip. Okay, we have here the file already. As you can see, it's with extension apk.zip. So we need to change this extension to just apk. Let me just go here to File Manager. Okay, let's see, downloads, and where is the file? Here we have it. Okay, what we will do is to remove the .zip. For those that you don't know, APK files are zip files. Okay, no problem about it. And right now, as you can see, the system already recognizes application installation. So let's run it. Okay, it will not take long to install. Yeah. And now here on my last desktop, I have the JDS8080 application. Let's connect this. Okay, we have to give some permissions. Don't forget that you have to have the location on to be able to use this application. Press search. The device is already in here. Okay, it's this one. And I think that we are connected. Yeah. Okay, the size of the letters are big. I don't know if it is just my application or my mobile, maybe because I have on my mobile the letters a little bit bigger. And as you can see, as I change here in the application the settings, it will change automatically on the device. Okay, we have an about. Yeah, sweep, measuring, and primary. Okay, so let's now try to change the waveform. For example, just press here where it says sine for a bit. Yeah, and appears a drop down with all the options. Let's try a square wave. As you can see, it changed immediately on the device. Okay, again, I don't know, triangle. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, let me just try now the second channel. I want a full wave. Yeah. Okay, you got the idea. This is just a remote controller for the device. I will not spend much more time on this. And yeah, let's move on. To wrap this up, the JDS8080, much like the PSG9080, it's a very nice product. It has some difference to be noted. The PSG9080 is a programmable function generator and the JDS8080 is not. And you can also get the dedicated keypad and a bigger screen on the PSG9080. But in terms of performance, they are pretty much similar. You will be okay with any of the models. The smaller form factor also has its advantages. For a workbench like mine, where the space is precious, a smaller unit probably makes more sense. I think the price will adjust itself in a short time, since the difference in the 80 MHz models between the JDS8080 and the PSG9080 at the time of this recording was about 30 euros or about $27. For this small difference, I will probably go with the PSG9080 that has a bigger screen and a few other features. But in terms of the JDS8080, one of the improvements to notice is the connector inside the case for the Bluetooth module that previously has to be connected directly in the back of the device, like it happens on the PSG9080. The overall quality is good, the generated waveforms are stable, and once again, I'm very well impressed with this Junctek equipment. If you are in the market for a function generator, remember that you have the affiliate link here in the description of the video, and you can use also the affiliate access links here in the screen. It will be the same price to you, but you are helping me to maintaining the channel by using these links. So if this video was useful to you, please smack that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. and hit that bell to activate all notifications and be the first one to be notified whenever I upload a new video. That's it for today. I hope to see you in my next video. Until then, stay safe. Cheers.